friends! Yesterday we read Kids Rule at School in our big book about school. Good readers read stories more than once to help them understand the story and the characters better. Because when we read a story more than once, it helps our brains pick up on more details. So today we're going to read Kids Rule at School again. This is the front cover, back cover, and the title. The title of this book is Off to School, and this is the spine. Now remember, this big book is special because it doesn't just have one story, it has a whole bunch of different stories. And when I open it up, I see the title page. That's just to remind you of the title in case you forgot. And when I turn the page again, I see a special place called the Table of Contents. The Table of Contents tells you where to find things. Remember, our story is called Kids Rule at School. And when I move my finger across the page, I see it's going to be on page 44. So I'm going to go ahead and turn to page 44. And there it is, friends. Kids Rule at School. This is the title, author, and the illustrator. Remember, the author writes the words and the illustrator draws the pictures in the story, and those pictures are connected to the words on the page. Since this is the second time we're reading this story, we will be doing a close read. That means we'll be taking a closer look at our story. Our focus this time is cause and effect. Cause and effect is the relationship between what happened and why it happened. Good readers always look to see why something happened in a story so that they can understand it better. The effect is what happened, and the cause is why it happened. As we read, it's good to ask ourselves why or how things happen. We will also be looking at strategies the author uses so we can learn to be better writers. The story element we will focus on today is character. A character is a person or animal in a story. Good readers learn to identify the different kinds of characters in a few different ways. And we can pay attention to the clues the author gives. Sometimes an author gives specific details about the way a character looks or feels. Other times, an author describes a character through their words and actions. If the character says and does helpful things, we learn that that character is helpful. So, my friends, let's get ready to read our story. Essential question: how do rules help us at school? Kids Rule at School. It was the first day of school. Miss Jillygoat read the kids' names. Then she said, "Our class is like a community. We need rules. Rules tell us what to do and what not to do." Miss Jillygoat added, "Who has some ideas for good rules?" The kids all raised their hooves. They had some good ideas for rules they wanted in place. We can learn about Miss Jillygoat's character by the illustrations and the words she says. In the illustration, we see that she's a goat, and on the pages we just read, we know that she thinks of the class as a community. That means that they work together. And she asks for the kids to participate in that community. This shows that Miss Jillygoat wants everyone to feel a part of the class. I know someone just like Miss Jillygoat. My friend Emily and my friend Lupe. They both love working together, and they want to make sure everyone feels included, and that's so important. I think Miss Jillygoat is the same way. She's very friendly. "No cleaning up," said Billy. "No sharing," said Nanny. Other kids added, "No raising your hoof, no walking, only running." Miss Jillygoat listed the rules. That day, the kids followed their rules. They did not clean up. They did not share. They did not raise their hooves. They ran instead of walking single file in a neat line. Now, as I read on page 47, I noticed there were a lot of different effects or things that happened. When the kids followed their own rules, The effects include not cleaning up, not sharing, and running. And the causes of all these behaviors are the rules that the kids made. Because remember, they said no cleaning up, no sharing, and no walking. In art class, the kids made hoof prints, but they did not clean up. The art teacher said, "No more art unless you clean." I see another cause and effect on page 48. The art teacher told the kids no more art. That's an effect. As I look back and think about the story, I understand the cause, or the reason why the teacher said no more art. The teacher said no more art because they made a mess and they did not clean up. The kids were having a grand time at recess. Then Quentin wanted the ball. "No sharing," said Millie. After recess, the kids ran back to class. The principal stopped them on the way. "No more recess unless you stop running," he said. Miss Jillygoat looked around. "I have a question," she said. "Why is everyone grumpy?" The kids all began to talk at once. No one could hear. Then Quentin raised his hoof. As I look more closely at cause and effect in the story, I begin to see some patterns. Bad behaviors happen because the kids are following their own rules. The principal took away recess because they were running, and running in the hallway isn't safe. And then I read that they all tried to talk at the same time, and the effect was no one could hear. So when we all talk at the same time, it makes it hard for friends to hear. "Quentin, I like the way you are raising your hoof," said Miss Jillygoat. "It is your turn." We can learn about Quentin's character by his actions and the word he says. In the illustration, we see that he is raising his hoof, but that's against the kids' rules. Let's see what happens on the next page. Quentin said, "The art teacher said no more art. Kids said no more sharing the ball. The principal said no more recess. Our rules are not good rules." Now on the next page, he's standing up and everyone is looking at him. I'm thinking of other people that are like Quentin. He's a good leader, and he's the first one to point out the problem. He raised his hand to get Miss Jillygoat's attention, and right now the other kids are paying attention to him. I could also use the words respectful and honest to describe Quentin, and maybe unhappy when I look at the picture. The class made new rules. They all followed them. Later, Miss Jillygoat asked, "What did we learn today?" Ruby said, "A class is like a community. Rules make a community better." Quentin raised his hoof. "I learned that kids rule at school," he said. Everyone clapped. Then they walked single file in a neat line to catch the bus home. As I continue to look for cause and effect in the story, I noticed that because the kids' rules were not good, they created new rules. Creating new rules is an effect. The kids' rules were not good is the cause. And as I read later, creating new rules is a cause for something else that happens. At the end of the story, the kids walked in a neat line to catch the bus home because the kids made new good rules, and they're a lot happier. Yesterday, we looked at how stories can help us learn and understand new words. Let's look at some other new words. Now, the word recess means a time for play during the school day. Let's look at the selection to check that definition. I'm going to turn to page 49. The kids were having a grand time at recess. Then Quentin wanted the ball. "No sharing," said Millie. What helps you understand that recess is a time for play during the day? You might say, "I can see the kids playing with balls." And that reminds me of recess that we have at school, because kids play with balls during recess too. The word sharing is a form of the word share, and that means to use with another or with others. Let's look at this page again. She says, "No sharing." What helps you understand that sharing means to use with another or with others? Well, I read that Quentin wanted to play with the ball, but Millie said no sharing. So that means she would not let Quentin use the ball with her and the other kids. That's not very nice. Alright, friends, let's see if there's any other words. The word principal means a person who leads a school or is the boss. Let's see where we can understand that word. After recess, the kids ran back to class. The principal stopped them on the way. No more recess unless you stop running, he said. What helps you understand that the principal leads the school and that he's in charge? Well, the principal took away recess. He set rules that everyone at the school must follow. So that's how we know that he must be in charge. We also saw that word principal in one of our other stories when we learned about who is at our school. All right, friends. I really enjoyed reading Kids Rule at School again with you today. I can't wait to talk more about it in our pods. Do your best to hold all the important ideas in your brain, and I'll see you later.